If you could have one more chance to talk to them, to tell them anything you want, and hear back from them, is it a chance that you'd take?
Team Region Signal 1013, 80 Street, 2nd and 3rd, 80.
It's 5 minutes after 9 o'clock on the East Coast. I couldn't help but say that. For some reason, it's kind of ingrained in my my DNA after all those years in radio. So I do apologize up front if I start hacking and coughing and gnawing and biting and burning and all that. I was diagnosed with a pretty nasty case of bronchitis, close to pneumonia, but not quite there. So thanks to my doc who stopped that. And new opening, of course, yeah, is a new direction for the gatherings. We are still going to very much be interactive paranormal. That's the state, and that's what I tell people. As soon as I walked through the door at Amber's cousin's house to do the interviews, I guess it was a week or so ago, maybe a week and a half, whatever. She said, "Oh yeah, you're the guy that does the paranormal thing." I said, "That's my other half." I said, "That's Stace." I said, "Stace handles that. I kind of do the true crime, and I just make everything look pretty and try to sound decent." So it's been released on Patreon now, um, which was episode 76. What we find. The reason I named it that is because what I found when Deb and Melissa told me that there were multiple facets to this, that was absolutely no joke. There's multiple facets to this. This runs deep. It's crazy. Um, and if you've been following the news, they tried to bring in a special prosecutor for this. That got shut down by the higher ups, whomever they may be. But Debbie is supporting the person that was going to prosecute to start with, which is Turner. And anyways, it's just been one thing after another. And that episode is going to be released Tuesday worldwide at no charge. You don't have to pay a cent to hear it, but I do hope that you'll listen to it because more than anything, we know how Amber was murdered. And make no mistake, she was murdered. We know how that happened. Yeah. We don't know exactly who yet. And even though a lot of people love to have their suspicions and talk about that, this is still America, and it may not be a perfect system, but it's probably the best one that there is in the world. Even though the wheels of justice do turn slow.
Amen.
Everybody, even at the point of an arrest, the accused are innocent until they're proven guilty in a court of law. Once they're proven guilty, by God, Katie, bar the doors. Have at it. The one that we're starting on after this, of course, is going to be about a young lady who went missing in Floyd County, Kentucky. And this was back in October of 2019, right at a popular gas station sitting on a main artery, US 23. I confirmed that with her family. Her family confirmed that with me. That was Krista Garrett. Not a peep, not a sound, not a word. No, there was a credit card transaction or two, but what happened with that, it wasn't her that used it. It was somebody else. So to this day, we don't know exactly what happened. And at this point, Stace, the family, the only thing that they want is answers. You can call and be anonymous and say, you might want to look here. And I'll tell you what, I'll even give you the number. It's 606-433-7711. That's 433-7711. That's Kentucky State Police Post 9. And I am so sorry. Off the top of my head, I forgot, and I've got it written down over here somewhere. The detective's name is Hannah. But you talk to anybody at Post 9, any dispatcher, and they will put you in contact with the right person, the right detective that is handling this investigation. And it is still an ongoing open investigation. And, I was looking through the Facebook pages today, and they are like Amber's family. They're not giving up. They're not going to quit until they know that for Krista's family, they want to know where she's at and what happened. For Amber's family, they want justice. And so does Krista's family. But, the thing is with Krista's family, nobody knows where Krista's at. And all it takes is one phone call to set an investigator or a couple of state troopers out in the right direction to go looking. And trust me, you put these guys on a scent, they're pit bulls. They're not going to let go, guys and ladies alike. So I don't know. I just think that it's a pretty damn sad testament at times. And then we've got this whole other thing going on, which is trafficking, human trafficking. I don't know if I was blind or if I just didn't want to admit to it, but it seems to me like it's a bigger problem right here in Eastern Kentucky than I thought.
That's crazy.
It is. And, it's I had somebody message me, I am Groot. Yeah. Listen, you got to have some kind of a sense of humor somewhere in here.
You go crazy if you don't.
I'm certainly not making light of any of these situations, But I mean, I'm making a lot of myself because if I don't, I'm going to go nuts. This is um, Patreon already got episode 76, which is about Amber, and we had so many wonderful reviews. I heard people say that they cried and laughed, and that they felt like they got to know Amber, which was that's what I wanted.
Yes.
Once you see what we've lost, it's a whole new ball game. Now, by every account, and I went snooping and looking for somebody to say that Amber had a bad turn about her, or that she was this or that. Everybody I talked to loved her. They said, man, she was great. She was funny. Wait till you hear the episode. And all I'm going to say is, and if Debbie or Missy is watching, I know they're going to crack up when I say this, Owl and Coyote. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You heard it. You watched it, or you heard it, did you, Stace?
If this makes any sense, and I know it will to you, sometimes when I say things coming out of left field here, but it grieves me to want to know her, to have wanted to know her after that. It makes me grieve that I didn't get to know her. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I absolutely do. That night I was sitting at that table, and across from me were these two wonderful ladies, Debbie and Melissa. And they're caregivers. Debbie's a doctor, Melissa's a nurse. And you saw so much love and hope in their face, but it was covered by grief.
Yeah.
And I get that. And the more they talked, and the more I asked questions, and the more I tried to get to know Amber, the more I genuinely regretted not having that chance.
Me too.
Same damn thing happened with Dwayne.
Me
same
too.
Thing, same thing happened with Muriel. And Muriel died in 1949. Muriel Baldridge died in 1949. And to this day, and at some point you got to say there's never going to be a prosecution in that, because whoever it was that killed her, they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're long since dead. But it wasn't that. It was also just bad enough that somebody had to go take her tombstone, Muriel's. And I didn't know that until you told me that somebody had broken
many days up there. Mm-hmm.
Broken it.
Gone.
What the hell is the world coming to? What has it came to?
I'm going up. I'm going to go back up and check it out when I go back up.
Well, I'm still with you on what you wanted to do about working together and getting her.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that. Because, to me, that's like a final marker. That's a final piece to say, hey, I was here.
Right.
And everybody deserves that.
May do an auction or something, and on live here or something. Maybe we'll do an auction or something like that with some paranormal stuff or T-shirts and all kinds of things to see what we can come up with for her.
Maybe I can sell Lloyd.
I wish that you could do that.
I don't know exactly what he'll fetch in the marketplace, but we can try. So, I don't know, but we're going to start working on Krista's episode, probably this weekend. The interviews, for the most part, excuse me, are already done, and we had some really great interviews from 4 different family members there that came here and sat down with me, and we talked for a good long while, and it's one of those things where, look, the disappear fairy didn't just show up and take her. Something happened. We know that. And just like we know that, we also know that somebody or somebodies, probably more accurate, somebodies, know what happened. I can't help but think when I had that dream that night that April said, you need to get back to doing what you do. Rattle some cages, make this happen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 2 days later, this thing blows up. I mean, it's got to be for a reason.
Yeah.
So we're going to follow that, and I'm going to do the best I can to bring these stories. Murder in the Mountains. Yeah, that was a great book.
I have a few of these, so I'm going to do some giveaways.
That's the DVD, isn't it?
I've got the audiobooks, and I also have the regular books.
Yeah. Now I've not heard them in audiobook format, but I do have a copy of the book that I purchased.
Me too. Yeah,
I think I bought
I
it on
loved it.
Amazon, or no,
Yeah,
my daughter bought it on Amazon. But let me tell you, it's a great read,
it really
and
is.
it's tragic because as you're reading it and as you're turning the pages, this shit really happened. This stuff really happened. This went down in 1949.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that I work with now at the radio station, his dad at a point in time in this story was the sheriff of Floyd County, and actually went to Indiana to hunt this guy down because he was in prison and admitted to it. So Gorman Sr. drove to Indiana looking to bring this guy back one way or another, if you know what I mean. And then he got up there and the guy said, well, they're mean to me up here in jail, and I'd rather be in a Kentucky jail.
Yeah.
I was like, God, that's the last thing I'd want to tell him. So,
The craziest thing about it, I don't know if anybody's really, really super familiar with it. The craziest thing about it was, we think we know, who it was, the one that lived right there beside of her house and in his office there.
yeah, the one that her dad waylaid the hell out of.
But why did he just seemingly wait until the circus came to town with all of these scary people and such? Makes you wonder, why would he wait till that time to pull this when this has been, brewing for
Well,
a while?
my
Obviously,
first
we've
thought
been
on
watching
that
it,
is there's a lot
but that
more
makes you
people to
wonder.
blame. A lot more people to blame that were out of town. And sure enough, that's what happened. There was a guy from Godolphin County that got blamed.
And then there was some that confessed it that didn't even do it.
That didn't do it. So I mean, what was
Crazy.
that all about? What the? I
I've
mean, I'm
never heard
sorry,
such
but
crazy stuff.
I was talking to my doctor today, and I was like, and when we were talking about that very thing, and why the hell would you want to confess to something that you didn't do?
Yeah, yeah,
Or if your name is thrown in the clank, you're going to want to be there to get that name expunged, to get that name cleared off the record. Or, and you're sure not going to come forward and say, oh, yeah, I did that, when you had nothing to do with it.
right.
And the evidence pointed away from those guys, but it pointed right to somebody else. But that guy's long since gone. I think he died in like 60 or 19 in the 60s sometime or another. But no, that is an interesting book if you ever want to check it out. It's also an episode on the Mountain Mysteries podcast. Yep. You can look it up. It's called Tears of a Star. I think it was episode 4 or 5, maybe. I'm sorry. I think it was 4, but it's on there. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on all those. But it says the Mountain Mystery of Muriel Baldridge, and you'll learn that everybody called her Merle. I don't know if that's a country slang thing or a term of affection. That's my guess. Maybe a little of both. But people loved that girl. I mean, they shut down the city of Prestonsburg when they held her funeral. They literally shut it down. Now, you got to think that was in June of 49. I think her funeral was
1949. Look at that baby doll.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She just, and that necklace that she's wearing was given to her by her aunt. And they actually found that on a
hanging
tree.
On the bush.
Yeah, hanging on a bush. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she was just so pretty.
She really was.
And by all accounts, and of course, most of the people that let me say this, what few I were able to talk to that were alive at that point, what they could remember of her, she was $1 million. She was awesome. She was just great. Had a big smile. She
reminds me so much of April. Look at them cheeks. She looks so much like April. Sometimes it's uncanny.
Funny that you should mention our April. There she is up top on the screen there.
I mean,
look at those. She does kind of, she's got April's cheeks, don't she?
If she had black hair,
April's got hers.
Yeah, yeah. If she had either or, I mean, they would look just like, so close.
Oh yeah. But we get into and we see these things going on, and we're like, and I actually had some people that I know approached me not long ago and was telling me about in the place of employment that she had, there was this woman and her child come in, and they were scared to absolute death. And we'll call this lady Bonnie. Bonnie said, "What's wrong with you guys? You look like you've seen a ghost." And there was this white van following her around Prestonsburg Village. And, they had followed her from elsewhere. And everywhere they went, the van went. So they run into Big Lots. Please call the police. Please call the police. these guys. And sure enough, it took some guy who probably stood about 6 foot, oh hell, to go outside and make eye contact with them, stare them down, and all of a sudden they go off the hill. And then the police show up. So, anyways, it's going on here too. I've read about it in the news, and I've heard about it on radio news and etc. about it happening in Richmond and Lexington and Frankfurt, Louisville.
They're putting money on the windshields around here now. They're putting rolled up $100 and 20s, anything, and if you touch them, then they've got laced them with fentanyl or whatever it is, and you drop.
Yeah, you're out. That's it.
You see something like that on
bringing that up because she said that happened to her, but she didn't touch the money.
Tell them all, do not touch the money, because just think about it. There ain't nobody going to leave you any money on your windshield or laying on the ground like that or anywhere.
And be careful about your door handles.
Yeah.
If
they're watching you, they'll figure out a way to get you.
Yeah. And they seem to be targeting single females or single females that are moms. And it doesn't matter if you're a mom or not. If you're single and if they think they can get something out of you,
yeah,
they're going to do it.
And I'm going to tell you something else too. Johnson County area. I know that I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to get crap started. But you all know that we've gotten an awful lot of extra backpackers, should I say, that you see in town everywhere you look.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure and keep your doors locked, even during the day.
Yeah.
We had a little incident, and
well, can you be generically vague, but tell us about the incident?
One of these backpackers, beside of us, they're on our property above the rec center. The lady that lived in besides, anyway, she had to go to the ER, found out she had some things wrong with her spine, so she had to go to another hospital in another state, which left her house empty. Okay, so you know how peaceful and private it is at our house, Chris. You've been up there. You know how it is. We didn't even know that there was a couple, 2 or 3, that had broken into back through her side window and was in that house. So we just so happened, to figure that out. Well, that was a couple years ago. Last week, we had a similar thing going on, but this one walks right in the house. Opens up the door, walks right in the house. So,
well, that's kind of bold.
And I also heard that happened to somebody else in Paintsville too, not long ago. So,
I grew up in Paintsville. It was not like that then when I grew up. Hell, they would turn us out at Paintsville School and say, "Y'all go to lunch. Be back in an hour and 10." And we go walk around town. We go to Giovanni's. We go to Jimbo's. We go. I don't know, Stace. Where all did we go?
Sundry store.
Hobbs. Yeah, Hobbs. GC Murphy. We went all these places. And now, my God, you better be carrying at least a 9. I'm serious. It's crazy. And it's just getting worse.
Yep.
I actually had somebody the other day, not to get up on my little soapbox again, but somebody was saying, "Can you believe this is happening?" I said, "Oh, yeah." They looked at me.
It's heartbreaking.
I said, "Man, Jesus told us 2,000 years ago, it's going to get bad." And it's getting bad. Yes, I am paying attention to you tonight, Brooke. Brooke got me my medicine today. That's helped me.
I knew it was coming.
Are you happy now? Are you happy, Brookie? Thank you very much for taking good care of me at the pharmacy. That's mighty country of you. Sure do appreciate you. That's country folk. Yeah. Lord.
Brookie.
Brookie. Barry says Paintsville's a crackhead central. Well, it's not just Paintsville either, Barry. It's I do not see, and of course, I visit town in Prestonsburg a lot, as you can imagine. Pikeville.
Oh yeah.
Couple of a weekend or 2 ago, before I started getting sick, I was in Lebanon, Virginia. I don't know why. That's just where I went. I just got there. I had this hankering. I wanted to go to a Ponderosa Steakhouse, and those things you just don't find much of anymore. So, anyways, I talked to my car. The damn thing will do everything except bring you a cup of coffee. And I said, "Find me a Ponderosa Steakhouse." So I said, "There's one in Lebanon, Virginia." I said, "Well, take me there." It says 2.5 hours away. I said, "Damn it, I don't care. Go." So, and actually, it wasn't Ponderosa; it was Bonanza. Imagine that throwback.
Ooh.
Yeah, flash for the past. So, anyways, that was a beautiful little town. Now, granted, I was just driving by, but I didn't see. Look, I've been propositioned by teenage girls in Paintsville. Now, that's been about a year ago, almost a year ago. As a matter of fact, it was during the Apple Festival. I'd stopped off to fill up the car with gas, and had one. Well, you know what propositioning means.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my words were, "Look, I just got done changing one pair of diapers. I don't need another one." And I said, "Where's your parents at?" Yes, Brooke gave me dum-dums too. Yes, good God. Will you let it go now? Just no, Hoss and Little Joe weren't at Bonanza. Smart ass.
I know you're gonna love that one.
I love him. But my point is, every town around, and Esther here says that she's had random guys follow her in stores. Yeah, I believe that. Here's the thing. People like this.
I had a lovely incident as well, by the way. Me
What happened?
personally,
What happened?
I went to a Goodwill up here because I always like to check out the Goodwills, look for antique stuff. And you remember that?
Yes.
No, was that in Hamburg? In
Yeah,
Lexington?
right outside of Hamburg's
Right
Goodwill.
outside of Hamburg, yeah.
I was looking through stuff, bent over, and a man took his fingers and went under my butt.
Lloyd?
You want to tell him what happened?
Yeah, so anyway, I got called at work, and KK called me and says, Daddy? And I was like, oh, God, now what?
Yeah,
And he
right
goes-
then he knew. Yeah,
he
right
goes,
then you just know.
Mommy made some man bleed, and he's on the floor.
God, I love you. You are my soul sister. I love you, baby girl.
I punched him right in the nose about 14 times. And the woman at the counter, she said, that's
Well,
what you
should.
get.
You've got the right to defend yourself.
Yeah, she said, that's what you get. She said, I saw him, honey. I saw him. She said, that's what you get. And I mean, I don't know. It was just, blood was going, psh, 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 and I was so upset anyway because I was burning mad because I had, the kids with me. And I happened to look down at him, and I mean, he's laying there in a pool of blood, just, like cussing himself. And she's like, do you want me to go ahead and call the police? And I said,
No, I got this.
I got it. Took care of. She told him, she said, if you're smart, she said, you better get your out of here. And before she comes out to the parking lot, before she finishes you off.
Yeah. Just like my daddy used to say, son, tell them don't let the sun hit them with a good Lord split them.
I mean,
In other words, their ass does not need to be in town after sunset.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, honestly, out of all of the ones around here, it seems like Paintsville has the biggest issues. I mean, that's what it seems like. The Paintsville City Council just had a meeting in which a lot of residents, I think it was on Washington and Walnut Avenues, were expressing some real concern about a facility going into a residential home there.
Yep.
And if
You're
I
right.
read correctly, and again, I'm quoting this, and I don't mean to misquote it, because I know the mayor of Paintsville. He was my 7th grade teacher. He was a basketball coach. He's a great guy, Bill Mike. It pissed him off when he found out, that they were trying to get this by, and he was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." And Esther is from Breathitt County. She said Breathitt is bad for a lot of people doing stuff. Honey, that's anywhere. It's but now here's the thing too. I've met some really great people in Breathitt County. I know some really great people from Johnson County and Paintsville. I know great people from Prestonsburg. I know great people from all over. But I also see that there's some dicks, and I don't care to say it. There are some people out there that just makes you think, why the hell did their parents breed? What was up with that? I mean, if I had even looked at some of the things I've seen and even considered or entertained the idea, my dad would have beat my ass like a Cherokee drum.
Mm-hmm.
And then here come 4 foot 11 inches of dynamite, which was my mama. And let me tell you something, but she could knock a man on the moon.
She's the littlest thing, the
She
cutest
was a little
thing
tiny
ever.
thing. She might have went what 95 pounds, 90,
Tiny.
maybe 100. She was little petite thing, and here Dad was. He was this Vietnam vet, this Ranger, and he was, he wasn't a huge guy, but he was a pretty good sized man, and you could just tell he knew how to handle himself. He never spoke of it. I saw him do it once. Scared me. But when my mother said, Christopher Shelby, Dad would look at me and he'd say, what the hell did you do? Did you take out the trash like she told you to? What did you do? So Karen Lynn said that there's evil people in this world. Karen, you're absolutely right. There is. It's not the world. And so many people say this, the world's gone to hell in a handcart. It's not the world's gone to hell. It's the people in it. Some of the people.
Mhm.
But there are still apparently just enough good ones to keep God from bringing this thing to a close. But it's coming.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
It's coming.
Yep.
It's coming because sooner or later, we're not going to be here. Brooke, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? She says, well, I drank almond milk and me allergic to almonds. That doesn't make you an evil person. It's okay. It makes you may want to read the label. But I love you, sis. So anyways, Tuesday, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Episode 76, what we find, the mountain mystery of Amber Spradlin comes up. And I want you to listen. I mean, what to me, the most heartbreaking part of that, to me, I see when I'm looking across the table, I see Missy is she's destroyed. And I see Debbie is hurt too, but she's this pillar of strength because she is spearheading this thing. And rightfully so. She's a born leader.
Right. You got to kick in.
So when I see her break down, I started crying right there. And you probably hear me in there. I started crying too. I was like, I was somewhere between pissed off because I could never get to sit down and talk to her and kind of like nudge shoulders with her and say, what's up, troublemaker? What you hear about the Head Start incident? That was just great. And she could never pick on me. The one with Krista, there's going to be a lot of heartache and tragedy when you hit that. Miranda said that she listened to Amber's story and it was heartbreaking.
It really was.
It was Miranda. You're right. And thank you for listening to this, guys. We appreciate it. But maybe the greatest compliment I've gotten so far was when Debbie had messaged me. And what I do, and I do this for families, they get it before the Patreon people do. I want them to hear it first. That way, if there's something there that I got wrong, because I am fallible, I'm human, then I can have, for example, had I got something wrong, Debbie could have said, well, Chris, this was wrong here. And then I could have went back in and fixed it. No problem. But what she said was instead that her and her fiance had listened to it and they laughed and they cried. And I thought right then, would this make Amber happy? Would that make Amber say, bro, that was cool? And I think it would have. So I'm happy with that. And then, of course, I hear from folks like Miranda. I hear from Stace, from Tracy. I hear from all of our Patreon folks that are saying, Brooke, they listened to it today in the pharmacy, apparently. And they were just like, oh, my gosh. Tracy, she said that she cried through it. I get that because you have this feeling of loss. And you don't know exactly
what you know her. You feel like you know her. I mean, you just do. Listening to you and then talking with them and you're there. You feel like we were sitting down with you.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I told Debbie this. And damn, I'm going to try not to get emotional on this, but she and Missy and I were also, Debbie's a very busy person. And she was also at the same time, God bless her heart, that she was giving me an interview. She was talking to TV stations on the phone because yes, she's not quitting until this thing goes to trial and somebody, the right person, is put behind bars or better yet, under the jail. But I told him, I said, every night I go to bed with April.
Yeah.
I go to bed with Dwayne. I go to bed with Muriel. I see these faces. But if you do it right, that's what you do. That's the price you pay. But somewhere, it's not like a haunting thing like, ooh, we're out to get you. It's just like April in my dream that night. She put that head right here.
Whoa.
What happened, Lloyd?
This doll that was in a carriage thing
Uh-huh.
just jumped out.
The one laying there on the floor?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Did you hear that thump?
Yes, I did. I'd say
Okay.
everybody else did too.
And this is the one for the past week that's been saying mom that I've asked everybody. I've been hearing everybody. I mean, I'm like, what? Did you say mom? No, mom. None of us has said mom.
Well, my
So,
point was what we were talking about.
Sorry
The mountain
for the
mysteries. Oh, that's okay, son. No, it's okay. For all I know, that was April trying to get our attention, or somebody, and definitely somebody trying to get our attention. But, what I was saying was that's what makes the mountain mysteries different. It's not Chris Sloan. No, I'm just a mouthpiece. I'm a storyteller. But it's the people like Deb and Missy and Amber. It's the stories of the people that we're talking about. It's the Aprils. It's the Ambers. It's the Kristas. It's the Muriels. It's the Dwaynes. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it different. Because how many times have you turned on, just like I told my daughter before I ever started this, she was like, Dad, you need to do a podcast. And I said, I'm not doing a damn podcast. And she said, why not? I said, what am I going to talk about? There's 10 million of those things out there, and there's absolutely nothing that I can bring that's of any consequence.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing that I said about Krista and Amber. And it was a night or two later, April. She said, people know how they died, but they don't know how they lived. She said, that's all you see on the news. That's all you see on the news. That she was stabbed 11 times. And Krista, I guess they just thought that nobody would care, nobody would miss her. Well, guess what? Boy, you screwed the pooch on that one. Because I care. Her family cares. That's what makes us different.
That's right.
You turn on any number of podcasts and you say, well, so-and-so and this and that. And, well, here's what happened and here's what happened. They're great. Oh, my God, they're great at rehashing the facts. I'd rather be great at telling their story. So, yeah, we're a little different. And I'm not taking away from anything because I'm a supporter of especially our local podcasts around here. Guys around here, they're just absolutely fantastic. And it's like, I was able to show up one time at a haunted doll tour thing for 606 Paranormal and help Stacia and give Stacia and Lloyd what little bit of a hand I could. And I so enjoyed meeting people there. And that was in Breathitt County. And I'm hoping I'll be able to make it to the one October 17th just to meet people. And maybe promote what we're doing here on the podcast and what we're doing on the live stream now. Because every single one of you guys out there, you matter. Just like every one of these people that we talk about. Everybody matters. Nobody is nobody. Everybody is somebody. Everybody.
Yeah. The haunted doll tour is something that we do part-time here. Just because
Tracy
I
asked
like
if there's any new patrons.
Yeah. Without giving back.
I sound like that guy that used to hang out with Dean Martin. The one that was always sounding like he was drunk. Foster Brooks. God, I love that guy. He cracked. Oh, my God, I loved him. He was so wonderful. But, yes, we've had a lot of new patrons. Patrons.
That's awesome.
And their names were up here when we started, and they'll be at the close, too. And I welcome every one of them.
Yes.
All patrons on all tiers get early access. Now, the $5 and $10 patrons get the Sunday show. But I think that it was just absolutely Joyce Atkins asked, "What about Candy? We don't need to forget her." Absolutely, and I've not. I actually had an
We had her
interview
in many
lined up.
shows.
I had an interview lined up with her mom at one point, Joyce, and she just backed out.
We had a whole spirit box session on her. How many shows?
Several. But no,
Several
I
months.
would love to do an episode on
Yeah.
Candy
We don't
Greenwood
forget
also.
anybody here.
No, there ain't nobody for it. And let me tell
No.
you that the spirit box will not let you forget them.
Amen to that. Mm-hmm.
Before I thought, well, we'll do an episode on Candy, and we'll do, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, before we'll do one on Kristen, we'll do one on Amber. Their names were coming through that box, were they not?
Yes.
And
Yes,
didn't
sir.
one of them say Krista, get
Mhm.
Chris? Or am I wrong in that? Did it say Krista, get Chris? Or
Yeah. I mean, we've had Candy come through.
yes.
We've had. Remember,
And let's face it,
they told us
I
she got
can
stuck
kind
in the
of
mud. Remember,
I
it
can
said
kind
she
of
lost her
write off
shoes.
Amber, as well. That's a common name. Krista, that's a kind of common name. I know 2 or 3
Sure.
people named Kanda. I know
Yeah.
2 or 3 people named Krista, but
Right.
I know I don't know. I know very few people named Candy.
And it was
I
coming
don't.
through like crazy.
Oh, it's blown up.
It said her shoes got stuck in the mud and she was crossing the river and she left her shoes in the
And
mud
that had.
because they were stuck.
I think she had on flip
Remember,
flops.
it came through and told us about all of that stuff about Candy. And oh my God, it was so heartbreaking to hear that stuff. But we let everybody hear it.
I've got a comment on here, and I'm sorry. I think it's and I don't mean any disrespect, and this is not a joke. Is it Tomed or Tomed sword?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
It
yeah.
said,
Mhm.
okay. Is it Tomed?
Oh, yeah. He's talking about him and Christy.
Yeah.
I remember
Okay.
him and Christy
Got a
used to work
mini
together.
pin from you a long time ago,
Uh-huh.
and I'll never forget that dog. Okay. So apparently, we know that you've done a lot to help people too. So I tell you what, for the last little bit that we've got,
Always.
Sunday, if you want to join Patreon, that's great. We'd love to have you on Sundays, but no matter what, all tiers will always get early access to the episodes at the same time. And coming up Tuesday, you're going to get, if you've not heard Amber's story yet, you will. And I hope you, or at least I hope you will. And I hope that it's something that makes you feel, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I hope it makes you feel a sense of loss that I did in the fact that we did not get to know her. And if you were lucky enough to know her, then I hope that it does her justice and honor. And I'm praying for the same thing with Krista.
Absolutely.
Because I met some of her family and they're just wonderful people. Garnet, Ashley, and, Alyssa and Elise, I think it was. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names. I told you that. But it was just great people. And they genuinely care for the fact that they care. But let's go ahead and fire up the box for the last little bit of the program tonight, because
right.
we've talked about this. And once again, I urge anybody that's got any information on the whereabouts of Krista Nicole Garrett or on what happened to her, you can make an anonymous phone call and you can change everything. 606-433-7711. That's Kentucky State Police Post 9, and I know that they would love to hear from you.
It's been listening to us the whole time, so I've had them rolling. Be back in 1 second. Got to put my little legs on my camera.
Oh, sure.
They're watching us. Did you hear that one? They are watching us.
Is that a picture of a doll you've got there?
Oh, yeah. These are some extra photos.
You don't just have haunted dolls. You got pictures of haunted dolls. They probably have pictures of haunted dolls.
We've got a whole haunted object room and basement where the worst of the worst goes. Hand me that doll that fell on the floor.
I ain't touching it.
Let me get it.
I want to mention this. Mary Ray just said Amber's prayer vigil is Sunday at Betsy Lane Park, 3 to 5, with an auction and bake sale, petting zoo also, and probably to help fund the scholarship. I'm going to see if I can come to that, Mary, if I may.
I would love to come. We could come in.
Well, Betsy Lane's just a hop, skip, and a jump from where I'm at. So, but I think I'll drive because I'm no good at skipping or hopping, and I sure ain't gonna jump.
If anybody wants to come through, you've been listening to our show tonight. We talked a little bit before. Anybody wants to come through, for anybody in the chat room? Any messages for anybody's family with Amber or Krista? You're more than welcome to come through. Can you see Amber's picture on my computer screen up here? Said Amber. The guy said, "Oh my gosh." Amber is Amber again. There's twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
Evil. Can you tell us who did this to Amber?
Oh, they were evil. No doubt about that.
Uh-huh. Said he
And look at that picture of that pretty young lady up there.
Earlier. It said he went something like all so fast. Look at the picture. Look at the picture of Krista on the screen. Can you tell me anything about her?
Can you tell us where she's at?
She said here, and that sounded like a child. Good night, Esther. Good to see you.
Good night. Thanks for being here, Esther.
She's gone and buried. Robert. Can you tell me who was responsible for Krista? Tell me what happened if you can. Said she's gone with 3. Gone. Can you tell me what happened? They drove her somewhere and said it was going to make it suicide. Steph is in there. She usually hears the exact same thing I do. Where did Krista go when she left?
Your mom put her in the crazy room. Great. Poor Brooke.
Bless that baby.
Poor little Brookie. Why don't you look at that picture there?
Can you look at the picture on the screen for me? Tell me anything about that picture? This one? He made me drive. And you know, it's always open for Stacia. That's my girl. If you can come through with a message for your mama, we would love to hear you. Amber, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I've heard you say Amber several times. Can you give me a last name? Did you hear that? Can you give me a last name again? Tell me who we're talking about. Or can you tell me who killed her?
You won.
Wow.
That was pretty clear.
Hey, Sheila, welcome back, honey. Good to see you, girl. Can you tell us anything about Amber? Or Krista? They leave her? Leave her? Leave her? Where did they leave her? His auntie? Stacia, can you come through? Doctors. At the doctors.
Wow.
What happened at the doctors? Blood.
Oh.
Hey.
Because dead more expensive.
How many people were there?
If you'll look at Barry's picture on the
I've seen it.
Yep, that's Norm from Cheers.
Does anybody have any messages for anyone in the chat room?
Which video?
Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Tracy.
Hang on there, Barry. Let me throw up a self-portrait of myself. I wish.
Chris, I love you. How sweet was that? That was at 5. Let's see, 56.50.
I love you too.
56.50.
I wonder who that
It
was.
was a girl. Chris, I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for saying that sentence.
That was so sweet. Yes.
Love you.
Just made
That
my
was an
heart.
older woman.
Just made my heart jump. Yeah.
Did you see me reaching to turn the spirit box off and think that you might have needed to come back through? Of course, you can hear the dog over there making noises. You'll be all right, I promise.
No.
11 o'clock. What about the 11 o'clock? Can you tell me? They were all there. Do you have any messages about Amber or anyone that we've spoken of? Weird. I love him. Did you hear that one?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else? Time I say something, it cuts me off. I'm afraid it's going to be important, so I just shut up. Brooke. That was plain as day right there. Brooke, did you hear that voice? That was plain as day.
She's too busy talking about her mother in a strip club or something.
Oh, Lord.
You get her and Barry together, and it's just
That's a party. Oh, no. I hear the serial killer guy. You hear him?
we've been hearing him for a while.
Who you killing tonight, bub? Oh my goodness. He said I took her skirt off. And it was something.
What?
Did you hear that? Listen. And they said, look at me. That's him. That's the same guy. Oh my God. Let me turn this one off. I got to hear what he's saying. I'm going to put you on standby, okay? And I left her in a tiny house, abandoned. The scene was horrible. It was a contract place. And they didn't find her body either. I don't know who this guy is. I mean, he just always getting on here saying he's did all this stuff.
Look, K2's going nuts.
Oh, great. Light that up if they were talking about a serial killer on here. I mean, in the locker room, something. He killed one in the locker room. Wow. All right, I don't want to hear that. That was going somewhere bad. I don't want to know about that one.
It was serious and fun.
Y'all killing me. I'm telling you, I never know what it's going to say. All right. We're getting ready to close up shop. Okay. If anybody else wants to come through for us, I'll give you a minute before we got to go. Heidi. No, I've never heard it come through there and say Heidi.
Howdy.
Heidi, hi. How are you doing?
Country folk.
That's the best.
Yep.
Yeehaw. I'll set that one back over there. Something Mary.
I said howdy ho like Mr. Hanky.
Yeah, I also thought I heard something
Else.
about a diaper. Does anybody want to come through for anyone in our chat room?
Ooh, wow.
Catherine? She was dumped. Up in something hills. Who was dumped? Mountain, up the mountain.
We're out of the mountain. What mountain?
I don't know what it said. Billy or something. Was she dumped nearby? Yes. Who dumped her? That sounded like Spanish. Chris, did you hear that one? And then I went right by them. That was weird. That was a scary voice. I'll do that on a private channel, Barry. I mean, but He's actually sitting over here if you want to talk to him in person.
That just went off like a Scud missile.
I want to thank everyone for coming through our spirit boxes tonight for us.
Yeah.
Thank you for anything and any information you've given us thus so far.
Now, we'll be back on Sunday on the YouTube channel only. And this is pretty much all we'll be doing Sunday night, is taking requests from any patron who wants to try to reach out to somebody and maybe trying to contact any of the family members of the ladies that we've talked about tonight or other people. So, and hopefully by then his cough will be about gone. So
I hope so.
I don't. It's getting to be that time of year. So, what do you do?
That it is that lovely apple day weather.
No, I was talking about the doll.
And she cutest thing you ever did see.
I think she looked better on the floor.
I think she looks like Reba McEntire or something.
She's got the red hair. Did that thing just squeak?
Watch her mouth.
That sounds like one of them little midget javelin throwers when he falls.
Let's see her mouth.
Lloyd, you don't make it do that thing at night, do you? When nobody's around.
It ain't that big.
We're going to step out on that one. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for coming through. I don't even know where to go with that one.
Glasses shining.
Leave it to Lloyd. You know, sharks have to be in a cage to go swimming with him. He built Rome in a day. Yeah, it's Lloyd.
The bathroom,
so I don't. Bigfoot has his picture.
Oh, she's a new one, Sheila. I've got, I think, a couple new ones since you've been in. You have to come and see us at Laurel County.
Shouldn't be too far from, if you're still in Breathitt, anyway. It shouldn't be too far. Laurel County's not bad, is it?
No.
So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and step out, and I'm going to go over here and stick my head under a bucket of water, and maybe that'll cure the coughing for a while.
Well, we hope you get to feeling better. Shoot.
It's getting there. After what I went to the doctor today, and they did what they did. I'm already feeling a lot better. Nothing happens instantly. It all takes time. So
yeah.
But they pretty much convinced me I probably need to take a little bit better care of myself. So, but guys, let me get back up here to where we were, my dear. There we go.
There you are.
You know, I love you guys bunches.
We love you.
And guys, all of you who came through tonight and started watching, thank you so much. We love you, and our prayers are that God will keep you safe and continue to bless you and your families. And we hope to see you here Sunday, but if not, then we will be back on here, good Lord willing, next Thursday. So until then, may God bless. Stay good. I hope you have a wonderful night. And as always, stay mysterious.
Bye, guys.